Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narad's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva, text 25 onwards. Uchishta lepan anumodito dvijaya sakritsma bhunje tadpas kilbisha evam pravartasya vishuddha chetas tad dharma evatma ruchi prajayate. So Narada Muni is saying, only once by their permission, the permission of the sadhus who had come to their house, Narada Muni said, I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. So just see, many good points are there in this verse. Narada said, only once by the permission of the sadhus, I took the remnants of their food. I don't know how many times we have eaten the prasadam or uchist of devotees of the Lord, but still, and Narada was saying, and by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. But here, suppose I had given this example in the class once. Suppose somebody is in the movement for last 10 years, and suppose in a day he eats 1 kilo of prasadam. In 10 years, 3,600 kgs of prasadam has been processed by his body. But still, we still have those inclinations to commit sins. And Narada Muni had only taken prasadam once, and all the sins were gone. And he became purified at heart. And at that time, it's the very nature of the transcendentalist, or very nature of the bhakti became attractive to me. But in our case, somehow it's not happening. What is the reason? Reason is, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that in Nectar of Devotion, that there are the stages of bhakti. Ado Shraddha, it starts with Shraddha, then Sadhusanga, then Bhajan Kriya, then Anartha Nivritti happens, then Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. So these are the stages of bhakti, how one makes progress. So it all depends on the beginning stage, which is Shraddha, faith. Narada Muni had full faith in these sadhus, and obviously the sadhus, they also were pure devotees of the Lord. And that's why the real transformation of the heart took place just by once eating the Mahaprasadam. In our case, I would say in my case, not in everybody's case, in my case, because the faith is not there, faith is missing, and that's why the prasadam doesn't take full effect. We still have doubts. We still have doubts on the sadhus or on the prasadam, both. There's a wonderful story of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya was once going with his disciples, and they came across a pond. So Ramanujacharya took some of his prasadam, Mahaprasad, and Jesus threw some prasadam in the pond. The fishes ate that prasadam, and right away, that very moment, they developed four-handed form, and they went back to Vaikuntha. Ramanujacharya's disciples, they were amazed to see that. They said, Maharaj, we've been eating your for so many years. We haven't been able to go back to the spiritual world. What is it that these fishes do? Ramanujacharya said, you guys don't have faith in the Mahaprasad. These fishes, they didn't have faith, but they were neutral. They just didn't know. They were neutral. So they accepted Mahaprasad and it had the proper effect. So that is what we have to develop. The faith has to be developed properly. And that's when we can make progress. So when the faith is there, then sadhusan, we take association of devotees properly. Then bhajan kriya, under the association of devotees, what do we do? Bhajan kriya. If the devotees or the sadhus, they should inspire us, encourage us to do bhajan, to take care of our sadhana, take care of our services. And then bhajan kriya, when it happens, then the anartha nivritti means all the dirty things, all the unwanted things from our heart, they will go away. Slowly, they'll start going away, but they will go away. And then it comes to the stage of nishtha. Nishtha means fixed faith, steadiness. One becomes steady in the path of bhakti. And then obviously, slowly, then ruchi, then asakti, bhav, and prem stage comes later. And the purport writes in the purport, pure devotion is as much infectious, in a good sense, as infectious diseases. A pure devotee is cleared from all kinds of sins. The personality of Godhead is the purest entity, and unless one is equally pure from the infection of material qualities, one cannot become a pure devotee of the Lord. It's a very powerful line Prabhupada writing. Unless one is equally pure from the infection of material qualities, one cannot become a pure devotee of the Lord. We all have so many faults, so many issues, so many impurities in our heart. So, process is perfect. That's why, yes, is anybody devotee can serve anybody who is a devotee. Yes, anybody who looks like a devotee, even though it could be at a neophyte stage, he's a devotee. But more effect we will get of a service is when we try to serve a pure devotee of the Lord. Of course, that doesn't mean we neglect everybody else. Again, there's a wonderful story from Ramanujacharya's life, that Ramanujacharya went with his disciples to a village, and in that village there were two disciples of his. One was very rich, one was very poor. So Ramanujacharya, two of his disciples, like advance party, to inform them that Guru Maharaj is coming. So first they went to this rich man's house. So he heard, oh, Guru Maharaj is coming, Ramanujacharya is coming. He got very excited, very enthusiastically. He started making preparations for Ramanujacharya's arrival and his stay and his prasadam and his preaching. He started these disciples then to the house, the poor guy's house. And when they told him, the poor guy, he had he gave them water to eat and for their welfare. And then he said, okay, Guru Maharaj is coming, that's very nice. I'll make the arrangements to my best of my capability. So then these disciples, they went back to Ramanujacharya. And Ramanujacharya asked them, so what did the rich man do and what did the poor guy do? So when they were coming, then the Ramanujacharya told his disciples, we'll go to the poor disciple's house. So everybody was surprised because they knew this poor man, he cannot make too many arrangements for a proper stay, a prasadam, and proper preaching arrangements for Ramanujacharya. So they were surprised. They said, why are you going to his place? You should go to the rich disciple's house. And Ramanujacharya said, see, the poor disciple, although he was poor, he treated my disciples very well. He received them very well. He honored them nicely. But the rich man, of course, he is a good disciple. He is looking forward to my association. He take care of my disciples when they went to his house. He didn't even ask them for water. So this is the right way of serving devotees. So so Bhakti Vedanta, as above mentioned, were pure devotees. And the boy became affected with their qualities of purity by their association and by eating once the remnants of the foodstuff taken by them. So the pure devotees, they can give bhakti to anybody, provided eligible, and is ready, and he has some faith and he has some service mood. Because the qualities of Narada Muni we saw in the previous verse, how many qualities he had, even though he was a little boy of 5 years old. Such remnants may be taken even without permission of the pure devotees. There are sometimes pseudo-devotees, and one should be very cautious about them. There are many things which hinder one from entering devotional service. So Prabhupada writing, there are sometimes pseudo-devotees or false devotees who might act like, look like, walk like, talk like devotees, but they might not be pure at heart. So it is our job or our requirement to really look for purity of heart. Of course, anybody can pose himself, I'm a devotee. We can wear dhoti kurta, we can keep nice shaved head, put nice tilak, nice kanthimala, have bead bag in our hand, we're chanting throughout the day, we can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But how much impurity is at heart? That is what we have to find out. And if that's what we find and the purity is there, then we should be able to associate with that person. But obviously it takes lots of judging, and we should not be gentle. Okay, somebody is not at pure stage, but he's still chanting. So yes, he is a devotee. We should appreciate that. We should respect that. So that's why one has to be very careful to be on the path of bhakti and to make progress. One has to be very, very careful whom to associate with. So association has to be with high class or first class devotees. So one has to be very careful in finding out who are we associating with. And then we can, if we get that association proper, we can make progress very, very quickly. But just like Narada Muni, once he ate the Mahaprasad and he made so much of progress. There are many things which hinder one from entering devotional service. But by the association of pure devotees, all these obstacles are removed. The neophyte devotee becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee, which means attraction for the personality of Godhead's name, fame, quality, pastimes, etc. So this is the result of association with pure devotee. Means we get attraction for Krishna's name, fame, qualities, pastimes, etc. We start developing attraction for that. So if a person, he says, or we think he's a devotee, very nice devotee, but by association, we are not getting this attraction. We are not getting too much of inspiration to do our sadhana properly, then association. So we should be very careful. Of course, everybody and anybody can help us little bit here and there, no problem, no doubt about that. But in the association of very pure or first class devotee, we'll get this real urge, real push, real impetus to take up the process very seriously. Infection of the qualities of pure devotee means to imbibe the taste of pure devotion always in the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. This transcendental taste at once makes all material things distasteful. See, so this, once we start making advancement in path of bhakti, we start tasting the transcendental activities or transcendental name, pastimes, qualities of the Lord, then all material things, they'll become distasteful, will not have attraction for them. Therefore, a pure devotee is not at all attracted by material activities. Another quality is not at all attracted by material activities. After the elimination of all sins or obstacles on the path of devotional service, that is the stage of anartha nivritti, one becomes attracted. Means some ruchi is there. One can have steadiness, means nishtha. One can have perfect taste, bhav. One can have transcendental emotions. Or one can have perfect taste, means asakti. One can have transcendental emotions, bhav. And at last, one can be situated on the plane of loving service of the Lord, means prema stage. All these stages developed by the association of pure devotees, and that is the purport of this stanza. So this is how the association of pure devotees can affect our lives, can transform our lives. So that's the association that we should be looking for. So one has to be very careful about the association of the person one takes. And then Narada Muni says, Tatran vaham Krishna katha pragayata anugrahena shranvaha shranvam manohara taha shraddhya me anupadam vishranvataha priyashravasyan mama bhavad ruchihi. O Vyasadev, in that association and by the mercy of those great Vedantas, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. And thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing the quality of Godhead increased at every step. Lord Shri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is attractive not only in his personal features, but also in his transcendental activities. It is so because the Absolute is absolute by his fame, form, pastimes, entourage, paraphernalia, etc. Means everything when it comes to Krishna, everything is absolute. Everything is on the absolute platform. The Lord descends on this material world out of his causeless mercy and displays his various transcendental pastimes as a human being, so that human beings attracted towards him become able to go back to Godhead. So he performs these pastimes, sweet, transcendental pastimes, so that he attracts people who have some faith, some devotion, and then if we get attracted to his pastimes, we'll lose attraction towards the Maya's pastimes, and we become able to go back home, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world. Men are naturally apt to narration of various personalities performing mundane activities without knowing that, but by association, one simply wastes valuable time and also becomes addicted to the three qualities of mundane nature. So we get attracted to various personalities in the material world. Okay, what happened in the cricket yesterday? What happened in the movies yesterday? What happened in the politics? Or what happened in the society yesterday? We get very attracted to hear all these stories. But this is wastage of time, actually. By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead. And as explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead, from within all accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleared. So all accumulated sins. Why? Because when we hear about Krishna, so the stories of Krishna, the name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Krishna is all pure. And once Krishna enters our heart through our ears of hearing, makers are all the mundane propensities, all the enjoying this mundane world. Thus, being cleared of all sins, the hearer gradually becomes liberated from mundane association and becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. So the process is regularly hearing about Krishna. Narada Muni has just explained this by his personal experience. Whole idea is that simply by hearing about the Lord's pastimes, one can become one of the associates of the Lord. Narada Muni has eternal life, unlimited knowledge, and unfathomed bliss, and he can travel all over the material and spiritual worlds without restriction. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources, as Sri Narad heard them from the pure devotees in his previous life. This process of hearing in the association of devotees is especially recommended in this Kali. So this hearing has to be very perfect, very proper, from the right source, and obviously we also have to have the good qualities of a proper hearing. Actively we hear, with faith we hear, and we reflect on whatever we have heard, and then we work on what we have heard. So that is the right way of hearing. And we can ask questions, not in a challenging way, but we can ask questions. There is no problem in asking questions. So here in this context, Vyas himself is asking questions to Narada Muni, and Narada Muni is replying. Text 27. Should I take up the next verse, or should I ask for questions or comments? It's already 8:54.
I think you can take up the verse.
See if anybody has any question, because yesterday questions went on for some time. Discussion.
Questions will come when you give one more verse, then question will come.
Okay, so people are still thinking. Okay, next verse. Tasmin stada labda rucher mahamate priyeshravasya matmam yaya hamad sad asad so mayaya pashe mai brahmani kalpitam pare. O great sage, as soon as I got a taste for the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. So this is the realization of when one becomes attracted to hearing about the Lord. The taste develops. Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness, and in all Vedic literatures, the personality of Godhead is compared to sun. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. That's what this is the line that Prabhupada used for his Back to Godhead magazine. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andhakar. Jahan Krishna, tahan nahi Maya ra adhikar. So wherever Krishna is, Maya cannot remain at that place. Hearing of the Lord's pastimes is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are the products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with this material nature. It's only because of our ignorance. When ignorance is removed and is perfectly realizing that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead, then the nescience is removed. And later says, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting his name, etc. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. Such realization of the transcendental activities It made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in the devotional service, but simply attraction of love for the personality of Godhead, as it was developed by Narada Muni by hearing, is highly effective. So hearing, Shravanam, that is the first process of bhakti, is very, very effective and very, very important and very, very much required that we take up this process of hearing. And chanting also comes, because when we are chanting, we are hearing. That's also part of hearing. Reading is also part of hearing. So this is very important, because until we are clear, we are fixed up philosophically, we cannot make progress properly. So now I will stop and see anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Dandasana.
just to throw some light, I understand, in fact, hearing actually kind of goes inside the ear, it purifies everything. But what is the process of purification from Mahaprasadam? Because eventually, at least in my case, I tend to eat up out for sense gratification. And in fact, I've observed within our family as well. In fact, we kind of tend to eat it for sense gratification. Though deep within the heart, there is kind of lots of respect that we are taking Mahaprasadam. It should not fall down, and that respect is there, and that thought is always there. So, what is the process of purification from Mahaprasadam?
Obviously, we should not eat it as a matter of for sense gratification or filling a belly only. Of course, it will still have effect even if you eat like that, but it will have more effect. That's a proper we honor Prashadam. Prashadam is non-different from Krishna. So we should honor it. We should eat it with respect, with thinking that it's non-different from Krishna, and the consciousness should be proper when we are honoring the Mahaprasad. And how it affects when it goes inside. First we are eating, so tasting, so tongue and the other senses get purified, then the throat gets purified, then it goes to the belly, and just like any food, when it goes to the belly, it gives energy to the whole body. So Mahaprasad, when it goes to the belly, it gives energy and purifies the whole body. It purifies all the senses. So that is the effect of Mahaprasada. But we have to, again, the consciousness makes a big difference. How we are eating, are we honoring or not? And if we are honoring, even one grain of Mahaprasad is good enough to purify us. Even one grain.
Thank you, Prabhu.
But I know since we are still on the material platform, we try to just and we try to look for the best things in the Mahaprasad also, whatever we like. Like Rasgulla is there, we take, but if Karela is there, no, that's not for me. So we do that, but that's not right actually.
Invariably, it happens at Puri also, Prabhuji. In fact, I don't know whether it will be right example or no. So, for example, last time when we went, there were lots of sweets sold outside the temple. But
Uh-huh.
the attraction is always there to go inside and have Mahaprasadam, that is the rice and all preparation, rather than focusing on the sweets. So, in fact, I was thinking whether it is sense gratification and I'm being choosy between the two options, one which is sold outside and not offered to Lord, and the ones which is there inside Anand Bazaar and offered to the Lord. But then thank you for that.
But obviously, we should be attracted towards Mahaprasad only. But Mahaprasad also, the honoring part should, we should honor it properly. That part, since it is missing, it's not taking the desired effect on us. If we ever get to watch the videos of how Srila Prabhupada used to honor Prasad, It should be on YouTube somewhere. You watch him. He would eat. He would sit down and take 40 minutes to eat prashadam. Because he would really honor. He would really, I mean, it looks like he is doing puja when he is honoring prashadam. He would really respectfully, he will take that prashadam. So many things we have to learn from Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhuji, I've seen one video. In fact, it's very tempting. The way he sits in the asana,
Yeah.
and the way he eats. Very tempting. And Prabhuji, what does remnant here means? It is the leftover of pure devotees that is mentioned as remnant.
Yes. Yes. Actually, some places it is said what we get from Krishna's plate, that is Mahaprasad. But what we get from devotee's plate, that it becomes Mahaprasad. Because they have first offered it to Krishna and then they have eaten, so it becomes Mahaprasad.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Or should we stop? So I guess we can stop here. Everybody have a wonderful day. Now we talked about prasadam, so everybody must be getting hungry. So please honor prasadam. Krishna Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.